Hello and welcome to this necessarily different episode of Curiosity Labs between two nerds in isolation, where we invite small humans on to have a little chat about science. And to make it even more different, this week we have invited two small humans to join us using the powers of technology. And moving straight on, they will introduce themselves.
Okay, so my name is Raafae Athena. I am 11 years old.
Hi, I'm Athena Siddiqui, and I'm also 11 years old.
Good
nerds, I'm Mo.
And I'm Eugene.
Okay.
And I'm coughing.
Oh dear, that's why we're in isolation.
Fine.
Right, so we're talking about aliens today, right guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
should we start with, what do you guys think? Do you guys think aliens exist?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, what about you?
Yeah, I think they exist because there's so many planets out there. At least one of them has to have human, I guess you could say, life.
Oh, so more humanoid life, right?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it's been discovered that there are loads of planets out there with water, and you know that life can definitely survive within the aquatic environment, which, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, good. I'm using big words.
And it's also been discovered that there's a lot of planets in the Goldilocks zone, which is the place that is not too hot or too cold, just right. That's how it's got its name, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think our job's done.
Yeah. Great conversation, guys.
Okay, so see you next week. Yes, I guess the first thing that people don't realize when we say aliens, right? They imagine little green men and women, right? What they don't think about are like a microscopic organism like bacteria or something, right?
No.
So just extraterrestrial life. I mean, of course, so like Athena said, there's so many planets out there in the universe. So the chances are we might find one of those bacteria-like things on at least one of those planets.
I think they found something on like Neptune or something. I felt like I don't know. It said that the environment was very
Go ahead.
So it was since there's loads of water on it. I mean, it might be ice blue, but they found that before it was all filled to the point where it was all just water. And if you think about that, that's pretty weird. But anyway, it was said that like microbacterial life might exist in the said antibacterial because I'm looking at my system.
And I heard a bit of a while ago that they actually found something kind of like a bacteria on, I'm not really sure, I don't remember what planet, but they found something that was like a bacteria a while ago. So I guess that could count as extraterrestrial activity.
Yeah, that is.
Well, not activity, but.
See, now we're both using big words.
Extraterrestrial is a good word. Yeah, I mean, so now when they look at Mars, they see definite signs of water in the past, right? So scientists think that in the past, Mars was way more Earth-like than it is now. And like you guys said, so wherever we find water here on Earth, we find life, right? So if you think about what are the three things that life on Earth needs?
Well, on Earth, you just need food, whether it's from the sun, like photosynthesis or something, or food. Physical.
Water.
Yeah.
Water.
And water.
And light.
Yeah. What do you think about one more thing that you guys need? It's probably the most.
Air.
Yeah, air.
Chocolate.
Very good, chocolate. Okay, but now not all life needs air. Well, which gas in the air do we need?
Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. But not all life on Earth needs oxygen, right? because you have things like yeast and stuff that definitely don't need oxygen to give us energy. But then we definitely need water. And how long do you guys think you can live without water?
Like
it depends
3
on your
days.
age.
3 days.
3 days?
Like
Yeah.
tops 2-3 days.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I mean, like you can go without food for about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how fat you are, I guess. Right.
And
I got a month.
did you know that water bear is the closest to alien life on our planet? And some people theorize that they came, but I don't believe that. But they said that what the reason is because water bears, or I think they could also be called
Tardigrades.
Tardigrades. They've been taken into, like, I don't know, some box, and they put them under the harshest conditions that you can have here on Earth. So they put them in really hot conditions, and what they did was they adapted to.
Yeah, well, they don't adapt. They kind of go to sleep, right? So
they just don't die.
Yeah. So if they're in a place that's really harsh, like it could be in space where there's no oxygen, it's really cold, there's radiation. What a tardigrade does is that it kind of hibernates, right?
Yeah.
So go to sleep, and then when it's back in a place where it's easier to survive, they just wake back up and continue on. Right.
But I heard that they would expand, but then
expand. Okay, let's let Eugene speak.
I think the theory that you mentioned is that they come from space, so they are an alien, and that theory comes from the fact that they could survive. So if you stuck a bunch of tardigrades on a comet and flew that comet through space, which is what comets love doing, then there's no reason that we know of that those tardigrades would die. So if that comet then impacted Earth, then those tardigrades we'd find them on Earth. But I think that's the reason the theory exists. That is the only reason the theory exists, because there's better science to say that they are just part of life on Earth. But they're a fascinating little creature. And what they do tell us, though, is, so we talk about the Goldilocks zone, and you talked about Neptune and water and Mars and water, and loads of the moons in our solar system are really, really interesting places if we could get there to explore, if we're looking for life. But the tardigrades tell us that life doesn't need necessarily to look like life on Earth. So as Mo's just said, there's life that we know that doesn't need oxygen. So we're not looking for a perfect planet Earth copy in order to hopefully find life. We're looking in places, or we hope to look in places that are kind of nothing like planet Earth. The temperatures are vastly different. The atmospheres are vastly different. So when the conversation started with you guys talking rightly about the number of planets in the universe, the number of planets in the Goldilocks system, the amount of water that we find, but the chances are even bigger than that, because you don't need to use those rules. You can go way, way beyond those rules, because the fact is we don't know. The only examples we have are the life that we find here on Earth so far.
Yeah, and I just want to add on that. At the start of the video, we was talking about why we thought aliens were actually existed. I feel I've watched lots of and read lots of stuff about how there's been, in like places like SpaceX and NASA, they have, and there's one specific satellite disk in California, and it's huge, and basically what it does is it takes in all of, it's pointed not at any specific satellite, but it into like space itself, and to see what if there would be anything other than what we've put into space. And what they did was they called it FRBs, which is fast radio bursts, and yeah, I know it's a terrible name.
There was also, they detected a signal, the WOW signal.
The WOW.
Yeah. but they
Yes.
don't know
So
what it is. It seems it's not a natural signal, so they think that something might have created, but they don't know what it is. So we don't.
but there's one signal that comes once every year on the same day, and it has a terrible name. It's like FRB 121102. Scientists are
great
really
name.
bad at naming things, I swear.
That's an awesome name. What are you on about? Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, FN2187 is a great stormtrooper.
You may as well name it like Bob or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's so much
That
easier
would be
to...
better than.
Give it a common name.
Yeah, Trevor.
Apologies to any Trevors watching.
That's also why I believe that they're real.
Yeah, but I mean, most likely, right? I mean, if there's so many planets out there, but surely there's something living on one of those planets. And right now, we think, some scientists think that Mars has a pretty good chance, if we dig into the soil, that there could be bacteria, microbes that still live in the Martian soil. So right now, we've been on 2 planets, and both seem to have life if on Mars. So that's a pretty great odds, right? 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's in our own solar system.
Yeah. Mo's falling into my argument there.
Yeah. So me and Eugene have had these debates a few times so anyway, microscopic life, simple life like bacteria or tardigrades, yeah, most likely we'll find something somewhere. But what about intelligent life?
That's where I thought that we were going on this one. That's when,
yeah.
And then you mentioned microbacterial life. I didn't say antibacterial this time. Yeah, microbacterial life. Then I was like, yeah, definitely, because like, all those years ago, how the whole thing was shaped and all, and how they found like prints on the, they found a print on the moon. I don't know about that.
What?
Like,
on the moon?
They found a what?
A print, I think.
We've only visited. There's this one side of the moon called the dark side of the moon, because they just had to name it that.
Great name.
No, wait, hold on. 1 second. We call it the dark side is because we never see it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
but it makes it sound like it's evil.
They sent a rover to that side of the moon. We've only ever seen it once. All right. So there could actually be something on that side of the moon that we don't know of.
Sure.
I mean,
sure. Yeah.
A colony of tardigrades.
But that side of the moon, that side of the moon is constantly hit by meteors, or in the past it was. So if you do look at that side of the moon, it has loads of craters. So it'd have been a terrible place for life to arise. Pretty meteor-y. But Athena, what do you think? Intelligent life?
I heard this thing that on one of Jupiter's moons, there was these things that looked like rivers that were frozen over, like on the top. So they think they might be like, there might have been, or like there still is like a fish-like species on that moon in Jupiter.
Yeah, could be.
Living underneath the layer of ice.
Yeah. But when we say intelligent life, we mean life like us, basically. Thinking, smart. Or I guess apes.
Stuff that could visit.
Yeah. Or have a space program.
I feel like maybe, but possibly not in our solar system, because, I mean, I'm not sure. I really don't think it would just, if there is intelligent life out there, puppy. Okay, if there is intelligent life out there, I feel like it would be, if it, like, besides us, I feel like it wouldn't be in our solar system, or it would be in more than one place, because, I mean, if there's so many planets out there, going back to what we said at the start of the discussion, if there's so many planets out there, it's not going to be like there's only one colony of aliens on only one planet. So there might be things on many planets that we haven't explored before.
Yeah.
I agree. So on that, and it's we're having this conversation about life and whether it's intelligent life or not. And I know they're the only planets we can talk about, but we are reaming off planets and moons and science, genuine science that makes it a possibility that, and almost a sort of, let's call it an enthusiastic theory that could be life on these planets and these moons. And we're only talking within our solar system. So then absolutely, when you expand that out to all the solar systems in our galaxy, and then if you expand that out to all the solar systems in all the galaxies in the universe, those numbers stack up that intelligent life, well, we're 2 for 2. So intelligent life is, like, yeah, personally, I think it's almost inevitable. Well, I think it is inevitably out there somewhere. That does not, I would add, mean that it's hovering around over Earth, hiding on the dark side of the moon, monitoring us, abducting people on a regular basis. I don't think that's happening.
You never know.
I don't think that
No, it's
whatever
true.
they put into science fiction, there is literally a 50-50 chance that they would be good or bad, and everybody thinks that they're gonna abduct people and stuff. So that's kind of, you know, mean to them. Quite
Yeah.
mean.
It makes for a better movie, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
I'm just going to
feel
release
like,
my dog.
It's probably not in our solar system because there was, I think I heard this thing that there is supposed to be at least one planet orbiting every star in the universe. I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah, more
but
than
if it
one,
is
probably.
true, then yeah, like
There
at
is-
least one planet. So if that's true, then there has to be intelligent life out there somewhere.
Yeah. Raafae, you had something to say?
Yeah.
Raise your
So apparently, from what I've heard, there's 8 octillion solar systems in the universe. I read it somewhere.
Just trying to work
It's
out an
estimated.
octillion.
There's
The
estimated to be.
21 zeros. Yeah?
Is it? It's. I thought.
Is it 21 or
Yes,
24?
it's 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Octillion.
Quintillion's what, 18?
Oh, wait. Yeah. So it's
21, 24, 27 zeros.
27
It's
zeros.
a massive, it's a
Yeah,
massive number.
it's huge. It's so big, it's silly, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how many solar systems or stars I think there are in the universe.
Okay, so but to this, right? I know the numbers are huge, and Eugene's heard my argument for this, right? I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. Although I would love for there to be intelligent life out there, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Before you
but-
burst the bubble.
Yeah. So, like an
Super awesome.
astronomer, right, would look at all of these possible places where there could be life and be like, surely in one of those, in more than one of those, there is intelligent life. But a biologist, someone who studies life, would go like, yeah, but it's so hard for evolution to happen and for intelligent beings like humans to come about, right? That it's actually probably not that simple, because it's just so hard. So many things have to go right for you for you to get life, and then for you to get intelligent life, that maybe, right, it's not that common. And Eugene had a counterpoint.
I mean, out of 8 octillion.
Yeah, but the probability for in evolution are incredibly small. That's why it balances it off. Okay, Eugene, go ahead.
So what Mo's just said is absolutely true. But so when you look at life on Earth, which is all we look at, and we look at the evolution of life on Earth, and you take that story backwards, it is a story that leaves you thinking, well, it is unfathomable. It's almost ridiculous that this has happened, but it has happened. And at every point that life gets kind of wiped out, evolution kicks off again, and it happens again, and it happens again. So we're 1 for 1. That's the argument. That's my argument. The only place we know that life has evolved intelligent life has evolved as well. So that's what I mean when I say we're one for one. When we go out and look at all those planets and that, whatever number, the octillion planets that are out there that have the possibility of life, or what we naive humans think are the perfect conditions for life to form, then that argument, that probability argument, says there must be life out there. But then when you work out the maths, it's unlikely. But if you worked out the maths for the fact that Raafae exists, we're not going to go into human biology, but if that Athena exists, the probability that Athena would exist, you get this infinitesimally small likelihood. We overcome all these crazy odds just for each human to exist. Yet we exist and we exist and we exist and we exist. So that one for one argument is, I think so where it'll get blown up is where we find microbial life somewhere else that didn't evolve into intelligent life for whatever reason. Then we'd be, okay, 1 for 1 or 2 for 2 on life, but 1 for 2 on intelligent life. But that is more than enough. You take out that octillion, you take any of these stories and reverse engineer them, those stories are going to look insanely unlikely. But life finds, and the story of life on planet X, wherever that planet is, if we ever find that planet, that will have its own story that won't mirror our story and will look equally unlikely. Yes, Raafae.
Right, Athena. Athena.
You can go first, Raafae.
Oh,
That's all right.
Oh, Athena.
Go on, Athena.
I was just gonna say that if there is like on planet X, if that was a really long way away and they were like humanoid type of people, they could literally be looking for other humanoid people, aka like us, and then so like if we do find intelligent life, it would be a pretty big deal, because if they are similar to humans, and I forgot what I was gonna say, never mind.
That would be a big deal.
Yeah. Raafae?
They might find us.
Yeah, they might try and come and find us before we can find them. I mean, everybody says these rumors that like, oh, UFOs have landed and aliens are going to start abducting people, right?
They've already started.
Well,
in the movies.
I have 2 things. Number 1, my sister is definitely an alien. Number 2 is that that if just like Athena said, is that they would be searching for us, because I mean, you know, that's just like being quarantined on your planet, but you know, you get what I mean.
But explore.
But when we so let's say I was an alien now, and because it's also based on time. So if I came and looked at Earth now, I'm looking at what we call modern Earth. It's the only Earth that we've experienced. We're through the industrialization of planet Earth, where we've got factories, we've changed our atmospheric composition, we've warmed certain areas. It's very obvious that this intelligent life exists. So if I'm the alien and I come down and have a look at planet Earth, it's very obvious to me that, certainly, at least by the human definition, intelligent life exists. If that same alien came to planet Earth, let's say 100,000 years ago, actually it could be way, way less than that. Let's say 10,000 years ago. Let's say 5,000 years ago. Now, as far as we're concerned, intelligent life still exists. So those humans were intelligent. Those early civilizations had intelligence. We would definitely look at Homo sapiens. But we're not giving away that evidence. You'd have to get much, much closer. So when we look for life on other planets, we're looking for what we believe are telltale signs, all we can look for, those telltale signs, which is changes in compositions, the atmosphere, in temperature, things that life as we know it produces. But we've got to be aware that intelligent life on planet Earth has only really produced and made obvious those changes in the last 120 years. Before that, if you were looking from afar, nothing intelligent appeared to be here.
Yeah. So it's like only it's about 120 years ago that we sent out our first radio waves, right? Which have only traveled 100 years at light speed. So imagine if this is the Earth, there's like an orb where around the Earth in which light can travel in 120 years. So it's 120 light year wide orb. And only if the aliens were inside that big orb, right, could they have ever even heard us in the first place. Right now, the way we look for aliens is with these big satellites that Raafae was bringing up, and we point them at a part of the sky, and we're just trying to listen for radio signals. And that's like the equivalent of us opening the door and being like, well, there are no bears out there, so I guess bears don't exist. Right? So it's like we're only looking at a tiny part of the universe at a time. But then, have you guys heard of the Fermi paradox?
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you have?
Guys, you're all
Yes.
frozen.
What's that?
Say again, Athena?
You were all frozen.
Let it go.
Are we back?
Are we back?
I think there might be some lag with your internet connection, Athena. I'm not too sure.
I'm not
We
sure.
were pranking you.
Yeah, because you're lagging too.
Yeah.
Oh, you've just frozen, Athena.
Okay, well.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're back.
No.
No, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a thing called the Fermi paradox, which Enrico Fermi once at lunch, I think, just thought up. It's not very well thought through either, I guess.
It's rubbish.
Like if the universe has been around for so long, right? Almost 14 billion years, right? There's been enough time for, let's say, life on other planets to have evolved at this point, right? So even before we came about, before we built these satellites, there's been plenty of time for aliens to have evolved and built satellites and traveled through space. So how come we don't see them or hear them right now? Where are they? Yep.
I was thinking that maybe intelligent life, they don't want to be found because there might be a reason that they don't want to be found by us.
Yeah. Maybe they don't want to be found. Maybe we are explorers, right? As humans, that's what we do. We explore. Maybe there's particular alien life, just for some reason didn't evolve this need to explore, or maybe they just destroyed themselves before they got a chance to even do that. Right?
Destroyed themselves?
Yeah, so like with us humans, right, ever since, let's say, we've invented nuclear bombs, right, so about 70 years ago, we've had the chance to blow all the humans off the face of the planet, right? And there have been near misses and accidents that could have caused that to happen. It's kind of amazing that it hasn't happened so far. So maybe, right, so some scientists think that it's part of our evolution in technology that we will unlock the power of like nuclear bombs, and at some point we blow ourselves up and there's no more intelligent life on that planet. So that could be one of the things. Yeah. Athena, did you have your hand up? I thought you did.
No, but like if the aliens if I was an alien and I saw like that nuclear bomb thing, I would really not want to be found. Just saying.
Yeah, Eugene, yeah.
So on that, kind of the Fermi paradox, but so other civilizations could certainly have destroyed themselves. But even if they were identical to us, if you spread a bunch of planet Earths around just our galaxy, forget the other galaxies, if you did it just in our galaxy and you put them at various stages, remember, so life has been evolving on Earth for nearly, let's call it 3.8 billion years. And it's so 3.8 billion years, life of some sort has been on planet Earth. in the last 120 years, we've started to show evidence to aliens that we exist. So, and we think we're pretty advanced. So if you duplicated planet Earth 1,000 times and spread them evenly around our galaxy, there is no way that any of those versions of humanity would know that any other versions existed. Yet there's thousands just in our galaxy. So if you take that, so this theory, the Fermi paradox being that if intelligent life lived elsewhere in our galaxy, it would have taken over by now, or we would have seen it by now. It would have flown over and gone, oh, we'll use planet Earth's resources. It's, to me, such a ridiculous, well, it's not a paradox, because it's just so unlikely that anything would have taken over the galaxy. And you could have thousands and thousands of versions of planet Earth, all with intelligent life, all, let's say, looking slightly different. So it looks good in a movie. Some of it's slightly reptilian. But there's just no way with our current understanding technology, if we were all sending signals, we still wouldn't know each other existed. Yes, Raafae.
I just wanted to point out that at the start, when we introduced aliens at the start of this discussion, we went straight into space. Now, as you mentioned, there has been 3.8 billion years of life on Earth, right?
Yeah.
But what about all that time before life on Earth? There could have already been, we don't know, because there might have not been any traces left. But before that there could have still been. So now I'm going to point out that we've been everywhere on land. Like, we've literally been everywhere. Humans have claimed this planet, but we haven't searched more than 5% of the seas.
Yeah.
So I'm just pointing out that, space, I mean, we've explored more of deep space than we have of the seas. So
on that,
there's
there's definitely life on Earth that we don't know about, without doubt. I mean, we find new species of plants and animals, and certainly marine life, and fairly regularly. Yeah, which is great. So there is life on Earth that we don't know about. If you're going back to Earth pre the life, sort of this evolutionary path that life has taken us to now, the planet wasn't around for much longer than the 3.8. It's only had 700,000 years, 700, whatever it is, 7 million years for life to evolve. So it's unlikely. Now, so the life that you would find underwater wouldn't be alien, but it would be new discovery and new life. What you might be getting at, well, I'm about to get at it anyway, and it's not a conversation we need to have because it's not about aliens, but there's lots of the history of life on Earth that we do not know. And whether that's human history or whether that's intelligent life of other sorts, whether human civilizations came much, much, much earlier than our current understanding, none of that is alien based, but that's all. You're absolutely right, Raafae. There's so much we don't know about our own life's journey that it's sitting here talking about space and theorizing about that. We could have just as rich a conversation talking about what we don't know about our own history.
Athena, you had your hand up before.
I was gonna say, like, adding on to what Eugene said earlier, I mean, what are the chances that that like aliens who happen to just be like intelligent life come down in their UFOs and beam up some people and take them back to their planet? I mean, there's really, if you think about it properly, there's almost no chance that aliens are gonna come down, come to Earth.
Yeah, but even then, like, when we look at, well, if we're responsible, like naturalists, right? And when we look at other species, we don't go in and actually, I guess we do go and kidnap a few of those species, turtles and stuff. But then there's no reason why aliens would do that. Maybe they just observe us because we'd be like chimps to them, right? And like a better scientist, like nowadays, like in the past, like people like Charles Darwin and stuff, if they found a new species of anything, they
Kill
would
it.
basically kidnap it, try to bring it back, eat it, do all sorts of stuff with it. Nowadays, though, we observe from afar, like whether it's baboons or chimpanzees, we observe from afar to see how they behave without us kind of influencing their behavior, right? So maybe they're just out there watching us. They're like, oh, silly humans, about to blow themselves up, haven't yet.
I mean, now that we can detect like new planets, you know, forming and stars forming and stuff like that, we could generally expect that aliens could do that too. I mean, talking intelligent life.
We expect it.
They might have been on this planet ages ago, might have done all of that, blowing themselves up, and all of that, and then disappeared without trace. And then we came along, and then we're looking for them, even though they were on our own planet, and I don't know, sank to the bottom of the seas.
Okay, yeah, sure.
That sounds so sci-fi.
That's because it is. There's a reason that sounds sci-fi, Raafae. It's unlikely. So if aliens came to planet Earth 100,000 years ago and met early humans, it's unlikely that the aliens are going to settle. They're going to have all the technology they need to get from wherever they live to planet Earth, come down, land on planet Earth, influence planet Earth, and then accidentally die and sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
it just feels unlikely. I think they would have an escape plan, so they would have disappeared. And
I'm saying that they could have been here in that 3.8 before the 3.8 million years.
But you're absolutely right. But it's just as true, Raafae. They could be here tomorrow, so keep an eye out, because they could, for all we know, they could be landing tomorrow. They could have watched Between Two Nerds. They're looking for a decent specimen of a young human being, and they've decided, well, it's either Raafae or Athena.
I'm not decent. Take my sister. She's not. Oh no, she's not decent either.
I guess it's you, Athena.
Yeah.
So it's as possible it's going to happen tomorrow as it is that it happened 100,000 years ago. So long as you're willing to accept that, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Just to like finish off, I'm always curious. I always ask this of people, grown-ups really, most of the time. But like, imagine tomorrow in the news, to break from all this coronavirus news updates, we get news that a new alien species, we've contacted a new we've contacted some extraterrestrial life, and they seem intelligent because they're sending back signals to us. So there is intelligent life somewhere else out there. It doesn't matter where, but would that change anything for you guys? Would you look at things differently? What would that mean?
Because I'd look at the Earth through the aliens' eyes, and how it would be so weird that we have block-shaped houses or something. I don't know. Or feet.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not have feet.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it wouldn't change too much in how I look. I just know I'd be on the next plane to the space station where they contacted the aliens and try to contact them myself. I mean, that's definitely what I would be doing.
Great,
but I mean,
you're curious. That's why. Awesome.
I mean, we're safe right now because the aliens could get coronavirus.
Yes.
But it'd be amazing. Like, it would change. I think it'd change a way a lot of people view the world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to get them to bring their UFOs to Earth. So
think of all the alien technology finally that we might be able to see, and they could maybe learn something from us. I doubt it, but maybe.
Like how to have feet.
How to have feet. Yeah, that's one.
We're good at that.
Yeah. But I mean, it would change. I think, and it would just mean that we're not alone, right? There's someone else out there.
Okay, that just sounds creepy.
That sounds creepy.
Does it?
I think
There's somebody there.
the single most exciting piece of news.
Yeah, it must be. Right?
That would be incredible. That would change everything. That would change every outlook. It would change how you felt when you looked up into the skies. It would certainly change what I wanted to do with my life. Not that I've figured that out yet. But yeah, that would be, and I hope, whether it's this generation, next generation, or 1,000 generations to come, that one day some humans get to experience that.
Yeah. I mean, it would be.
It'd be lovely if it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the biggest news story. Think about a big news story. I mean, right now, if soon let's say a week from now, they go like, we've invented the vaccine for the coronavirus, that would be a huge news story at this point. But I think aliens, having contact with intelligent aliens, that would be even bigger, I'd say.
Yeah.
Finding out,
like, it would be huge.
Yeah, and discovering they've been hiding on the dark side of the moon for the last 200,000 years.
And
amazing.
Giant tardigrades.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. I think that was awesome.
Or like Stormtrooper 7-2, whatever you called it.
FNT.
FN2187.
FN2187.
Yeah, I think so.
What are you? Uh-huh.
I think that's
Star
Finn.
Wars?
Yeah, Finn in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never watched Star Wars, so I have no clue what you're talking about.
One day, it's a really well-named stormtrooper. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. All right,
Wait,
guys.
the stormtroopers are those big white
Yes,
robotic things, right?
Yeah, that's them.
Well, they're not robots. That's just like
They're just
cool
people in weird
outfit.
suits that make them look like they're permanently angry.
Oh,
Cool
okay.
suits.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna end this. That was a long, in-depth chat about aliens. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Eugene, you wanna sign off, and then I'll stop recording.
Yeah. So I have no idea how this has come across. Hopefully, it's come across okay, and you've enjoyed this episode. In these times of isolation, please do get down there and give us a like, give us a subscribe, share it with someone else who's probably sat at home as bored as everyone else is. Thank you very much for watching.
And,
now, should we wave?
Wait, and we'll probably be doing a few YouTube special episodes with asking your questions and having us answer them on Zoom, right? All right, guys, everybody wave.
Everybody wave.
Bye.
Bye.